What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Saturday, the 20th of September, 2014. Sorry for the late report. Got in kind of late last night. Let's go ahead and start it off. As always, first link below is going to take you over to the Blogspot. That's where you can find all this madness I'm about to give you. We're going to start with Ebola. $1 billion needed for Ebola response, says World Health Organization. This came out on 9/16. Meanwhile, Ebola, U.S. sends 3,000 troops to West Africa to turn tide. So not only are we bringing people into the United States infected with Ebola, now we're going to send 3,000 of our U.S. troops over to the area to deal with the problem. I'm not sure how. Put a link to that. Virologist says it's too late. Ebola will kill 5 million people. This came out 12 September from the Daily Rapid. Put a link to that. Liberian ship with sick crew members dock in New Orleans. Sheila Aliens has an article on that. Not sure what's going on there. ABC News has respiratory virus. D68 spreads to the Northeast. More articles about this respiratory virus going on all over the United States. Meanwhile, I've got another article here. Brain-eating amoeba found in Sabine Parish. This is in Louisiana. This is September 12, kind of old. I think I reported on this last week. Another link for you. Other news going on. Search on for shooter who ambushed troopers. This is kind of old news. But I don't think they found this guy yet. He's supposedly a survivalist, and he has a deep hatred for law enforcement. Yada, yada. Put a link to it. U.S. Navy pilot missing after 2 F-16 jets crash into Pacific Ocean. This from ABC 7. Hope they're found alive. That sucks. JetBlue flight returns to California after smoke fills the cabin. This from USA Today. Speaking of smoke, this was put out by my local fire department. Kitty returns. Recall smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detector alarms due to alarm failure. Be advised if you have a Kitty CO or smoke alarm, you want to take a look at that. A couple of other interesting stories this week. Chemical found in Colgate toothpaste linked to cancer. Be advised if you use Colgate. I got another one here. I believe this is Crest Pro Health. Dentists discover microbeads in toothpaste. Be advised if you use any of those toothpaste. You want to be aware of those articles. Over to financial news. How did the Dow end up this week? Looks like it closed 13 points up on Friday. 17,279.74 continue to be record highs for the Dow. Meanwhile, Fed will end QE next month. Considerable time remains. This from CNBC. The end of QE. That's going to be interesting. Scotland says no to independence. I'd really like to know if I have any viewers from Scotland, how you voted, if you want to share it, or your thoughts on the whole Scotland thing. No to independence. There's already a lot of talk of voter fraud and, all kinds of stuff. I don't rule any of that out. Your guys' thoughts on that, I don't know. U.S. Congress approves arming Syrian rebels and funding the government. Okay, we're going to give them more billions of dollars and more guns, and that's probably going to all end up in the hands of ISIS. Anyway, meanwhile, back at home, be advised, Home Depot says data from 56 million cards was taken in breach. This on top of Home Depot's, what was it? Was it last year or earlier this year? Home Depot had that big breach. Well, it's happened again. This came out September 18. Be advised if you shop at Home Depot lately. From RT, Facebook for the rich begins accepting members at $9,000 a piece. If you got $9 grand and below, you could join the rich Facebook. UK man wins court case against BBC for 9/11 cover-up. Right on, some good news. This came out actually April 28. I'm not sure why I have this old news, but, good news in my opinion, no matter when it happened. And one more in the good news bin. Audit the Fed passes House of Representatives September 17, 2014. I don't think that's going to go anywhere, but it's interesting to see that in the headlines. One more piece of financial news on CNN right now. They got a banner. Alibaba shares soar on first day of trading. That's that Chinese, whatchamacallit, I'm not sure. Over to New World Order and Police State News now. FBI launches National Face Recognition System. Those of you familiar with the TV series Jericho know that's right out of Season 2. Put a link to this from my Fox New York. Meanwhile, NBC, 3 steps for home invasion defense. Check this out. Use wasp spray illegally. Treat home invader like royalty, and do not own a gun. This from The Blaze. They're covering NBC's story. What are your thoughts on that? Maybe you do like, well, Joe Biden says fire a shotgun, so I guess that's a step back. Anyway, federal court upholds U.S. flag ban on Cinco de Mayo. Lawyers vows to take case to U.S. Supreme Court. Yes, apparently in one school district, as out in California, you can't have anything to do with an American flag on Cinco de Mayo because it offends people. I could go on a long, belligerent, profanity-filled rant about this topic, as we all probably could. Let me just say that if you live in the United States and the American flag offends you, you're in the wrong damn country. Put a link to that. Get out if you don't like it. NYC Muslim Day Parade 2014 Pro-Terror March. I don't know what's up with this. I'll put a link to it. Look what's going on in New York. I don't know. Meanwhile, cops break up ISIS beheading plot with mass raids across Sydney. Why is this in the New World Order police state ban? Well, it's like this. Kind of reminds me of the National Defense Authorization Act. You know, I'm not saying that these people aren't terrorists. This also right out of Blackjack, too. You guys remember the slide where it says police raid known militants. I'll put this link, and then back in the U.S., I'll put a second link. Rochester man indicted on charges of attempting to provide material support to ISIS. And kill U.S. soldiers. And I'm not saying that these aren't bad people. What I'm saying is, could they use this ISIS thing as a cover to go after dissenters and patriots? And, you know, we've been talking about that topic for years, how they're going to start rounding people up. Is it too far out of the realm of possibility to think that they might use that as a cover to start rounding people up? Your thoughts? Moving on, 4 individuals with terrorist ties captured crossing U.S. border. Put a link to this from Breitbart. ISIS is no threat to America. That's what Obama says anyway. Texas manhunt for 14-year-old illegal alien cartel hitman. This is from Red Flag News. I'm not making it up. Meanwhile, vaccination news. 15 Syrian children dead following UN measles vaccination campaign. Right on. Go get your vaccine. Thoughts to their families. That really sucks, man. People just take the shots. UN to dump flood of Muslim refugees on the United States. This from WND. 4 days ago. Put a link to that. Just madness across the board. Over to, where are we now? World War III news. New IS video warns U.S. over Iraq deployment. This came out September 17. Are we calling them IS now? Meanwhile, White House says no combat role, but U.S. troops could forward deploy with Iraqis. But there's not going to be any boots on the ground. I don't know how you... Anyway, I got a Twitter feed that's reporting 200 dead in American airstrike on military camp in Mosul. This happened just a couple days ago, September 18. Put a link to this. 200 dead. I wonder how many women and children. Meanwhile, ISIL hit U.S. F-15 with anti-aircraft batteries captured from Iraq. This from a paper, I don't know. Put a link to it. New York Post. ISIS supporters urged to attack Times Square with pipe bombs. B of I's got that from Sam F. Thanks, Sam, for that link. The Telegraph has this. ISIL want to assassinate the Pope, says Iraqi's ambassador to the Vatican. Put a link to that. Okay, now they're going after the Pope. 3 of 5 detainees swapped are now ISIS leaders. You know, was it Bergdahl? Was that his name? That we swapped back, the traitor that we swapped for these. Well, now 3 of the 5 are now ISIS leaders. But the United States doesn't negotiate with terrorists, so I can't believe my lying eyes. The Blaze has this. In a private meeting, Obama revealed what he would have done if he was an advisor to ISIS. What? I'll put a link to that. What? No doubt. You know, the flag of Allah is already flying in the White House. A lot of us think that. Russia to provide military and other assistance to Iraq and Syria in combating terrorism. September 15. Why are we working with the I don't know. It goes back and forth. Meanwhile, we got one more from Natural News. Russia completes dry run of nuclear bombing attack on America. This came out 16 September. Put a link to it. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news. Looks like we only had one big quake the past week. We had a 6.7 in Guam. Let's see, 3.9. That was 826, 824. I put a link to the USGS. Big quakes on the left, small quakes on the right. Been a lot of small quakes around. I'll put a link to that. We got this big hurricane Odile, I guess. Is that how you pronounce it? Slams Mexico as storm leaves devastation behind in popular tourist areas. I heard there was a lot of people trapped, couldn't leave and whatnot. Put a link to this. Some people are saying, you know, these hurricanes coming up the West Coast now are saying maybe possibly due to the Gulf Stream being stalled. I know there's a lot of videos out there on that. Put a link to it. Weird hurricane season. Let's see. Let the computer catch up here. We got completely clandestine CLIO climbs through clouds to orbit on mystery mission. This came out September 17. Something launching into space. Don't know what it is. Meanwhile, Fireball over the Rockies was Russian spy satellite. If you were in Colorado and you saw Fireball, that was most likely a Russian spy sat. Put a link to that. One more. NASA awards space contracts to Boeing and SpaceX. Right on. That come out September 16. Getting back into the space game. You know, think of how great it would be if we could end all these stupid wars and explore space. Wouldn't that be great? Of course, I know that's not the agenda, but right on. It's good to see that we're getting back into space. Over to strange and bizarre news. Joan Rivers' doctor took selfie, began biopsy before cardiac arrest. I'll put a link to this. Apparently she wasn't supposed to have a biopsy. I don't know. Weird story. I still maintain that she was killed because of what she said about Obama and the First Lady. Speaking of the First Lady, the President and the First Lady joined millions to remember 9/11 with service by assembling backpacks with Kaboom volunteers. Kaboom volunteers? Really think about that. I'll put this link from their Twitter feed. What are your thoughts on that? Kaboom. Yeah, that's real funny, asshole. Suspect taken into custody after allegedly firing on kids standing in line at ice cream truck. This came out September 14 from CBS Los Angeles. I don't know. What's the matter with people? Armed robber killed. Shootout caught on video. Family of robber threatens to kill victims. Can you imagine? Are you mad, bro? You're going to go kill the family? What? Quit robbing people. People won't end up dead. I got a couple more here. We got prosecutors say sleeping West Seattle man woke to find woman raping him. This came out September 11, 2014. Man raped by woman. Is that possible? We got Arizona man sought sex with dog and woman in Craigslist ad. This came out September 11 as well. Strange. Well, this is the Strange and Bizarre bin. Strange people in the world. Got Satanists to distribute religious materials in Florida public schools. This came out September 17 from Sheila Alien. She's got an article on that. Times are changing. Here's some more signs that times are changing. We got Air Force says "So help me God" is now optional in the oath. Think about that. For all other news, please check my favorite videos. I have favorited lots of videos over the past week. Thank you to everybody who puts out content. Definitely pull it up, at least check over the titles, see if there's anything you don't know about. Got some shout-outs this week. Shout out to the alternative media. I got a link here. Trust in mass media returns to all-time low. That's because of people like you and me, right on. I'll put a link to that from Gallup Poll Politics. Shout out to Tactical Firearms. They got a new sign up, says, does one of Obama's family members have to be beheaded for change to happen? They're known for their controversial signs there. I'll put a link to it. Your thoughts on that? Made me think of this, and somebody passed me this link this week. This is an old story, but from The Onion, Ohio replaces lethal injection with new humane head ripping off machine. And that to go along with the last link. Put a link to that. Definitely check that video out. It's funny in that sick way. It is from The Onion, be advised. And one more shout out. Shout out to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson goes nuts on Canadian news anchor with Death Wish. You got to check that video out. It's only 3 minutes long. He says something that pissed Mike Tyson off, and then he gets all belligerent and says, "F you, what are you going to do about it? I'll bite your ear off." No, you didn't say that. But check the video out. Right on. Shout out to Mike Tyson. That's all I got for this week, guys. If you like the report, please give me a thumbs up or give it a thumbs down. I think it sucked. It's the worst of YouTube. You never want to see it again. Please rate, though. It helps it move around. Appreciate it. You can also follow me on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter for live show alerts, breaking news alerts, new upload alerts, always posted over there. Another week of madness. I need something to drink. Man, I got in late. I was going to go to sleep, but I'm like, nah, I got to do the report because it's what I do. Hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend. Take care. Stay safe. I will see you on the next one.